he was born in Jamaica. You understand me? And if you go into the biography of Red Fox, it tells you that he's a renowned reggae artist known for his unique blend of hip-hop and reggae. Remember that. You understand me? Hip-hop and reggae. You know, sometimes he's kind of compared to Yellow Man and all these things. But listen, his career took off when he moved to New York at the age of 16. And I keep asking myself, at the age of 16, 1-6,
Easy.
a teen by then. And he began to bust through the whole world. Now let's go to him and ask him, questions pertaining to, his early life in Jamaica, and then what exactly happened before he moved to Jamaica to New York. And then at the age of 16, he started running things, musically. Red Fox, how are you doing?
Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Yeah, man, hail. Much respect, King Lagazee.
Yeah, man.
Big up to all the listeners out there.
Definitely, definitely. Now, Fox, talk to me. You in Jamaica. You're supposed to be in New York by now, but you're in Jamaica because of Reggae Month, right? And every Reggae Month, listen, when you go to Jamaica every Reggae Month, you can meet any other superstar in Jamaica because everybody is going home. What is so special about Reggae Month that almost every Reggae Month, every artist, every Jamaican artist, anywhere you are, you must go back to Jamaica for that celebration. Talk to me about that, Fox.
Yeah, well, you don't know, reggae music is the music for the world. You know what I mean? It's the music that unite the world. You know what I mean? So in Jamaica, we are very proud of that. You know what I mean? We are very proud to be servants of the people. You know what I mean? So at this time, we all come together as a force and, try to make sure that we preserve the culture and keep the music going. You know what I mean?
Saying, wow. So anywhere you are, you must go back home and show reverence.
Yeah, man, after.
Yeah, man. So how is the vibe now in Jamaica? And where exactly are you?
Well, right now I'm staying in Settingz, you know what I mean, and close to Ocho Rios, for those who want to know, like where Ocho Rios is located. So I'm like 10 minutes away from Ocho Rios. And the vibe in Jamaica right now is very, very vibrant. Because yes, it is Reggae Month, so there's a whole bunch of dances all over the place. So we're moving from one spot to another spot to another spot, and people are just dancing in the streets, and there's tourists coming down to experience the street life in Kingston. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of parties in Kingston, as you mentioned earlier. The Sanchez and Wayne Wonder show, where I was there at the Devon House. That was a very lovely vibes as well. You know what I mean? So it's a beauty and a great vibe right now.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah, and it's also very pleasing because reggae music is building back a strong vibration moving forward, because people are tending to listen more reggae again in the space, so that's good to see.
We give thanks. And I also saw you performed with the Dancer Thursdays, and the reception was
Robert up
man.
Thursdays.
Yeah, man. And the reception was great.
Yeah, man. Big up to the whole Robert Up Thursday and the staff. Big up Peter Metro, Nico Bailey, Metro Media, Oliver and all of the crew, Sky Juice and everyone. Yeah, man. Good vibe.
Yeah, man.
Easy.
Now, let us step into knowing Red Fox right now. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was, yeah. So I was born, if I should be super technical, I was born in University Hospital in St. Andrew, Jamaica. And then As a baby, I moved to Portmore, St. Catherine, and then at the age of 4, I moved to this little country area called Brownsall, and then at the age of 14, I moved back to Portmore, and then from 16 years old, I migrated to the United States. It
Wow.
says I want to move around, you know.
Red Fox, you know, easy man. You is
Yeah,
like you are like a man on the move. You understand me?
yeah. From the minute I was born.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But what kind of parents were you born to? Were they Christians? Were they Rasta people and all that kind of thing? How was your upbringing like before, moving from Jamaica to New York?
Well, yeah, well, of course, Jamaica is a predominantly Christian nation, so most of the time, automatically, you are born into that religion. But my mother, I didn't grow with my mother or father. My father died at the age of 5 when I was 5, and my mother migrated to the United States when I was probably about 3 years old. So I was raised with my grandmother in the country, and she was a very, very strict Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were brought up in a Christian way. Read your Bible and go to church and sing in church and all these things.
Yeah, so I had to go to church every Sunday, or else I would get a whooping. And even in school, in elementary, they drill that into your head. I had to learn scriptures out of my head, like, and if I don't know it out of my head, I will get a whooping. So a lot of that went on.
Wow.
You know what
Wow.
I mean? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So I'm able to recite a few psalms out of my head, like up to this day, because of those whoopings.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So how was life like around that time with your grandma?
Well, for me, it was very traumatizing to some degree because, of course, I told you my mother left when I was about 3, and my father passed away when I was 5. So I always wanted to be with my mother and also the rest of my siblings. They also migrated to the States. I was the only one that was growing up with my grandmother at the time, along with my cousin. So um, it was fun because the country is great, what I mean, from having a farm to going to the river to playing cricket to playing football, what I mean, climbing trees, just running about. It was really, really fantastic. But at the same time, there was this feeling of trauma because I always wanted to migrate with my, I should say, unite with
Mhm.
my, mother and my other siblings. So it was interesting, it was a bittersweet feeling.
Okay. All right. So around that time, you know, before migrating from Jamaica to America to reunite with your mom and all these things, was music part of you?
Yes, so I would say no. I always loved music from a kid. I was always dancing, like in the streets and stuff like that. But at the age of 10, during the Yellow Man's reign, when Yellow
Mhm.
Man was really reigning in Jamaica, um, I used to sing all of his songs. But before I get to that, there was a situation where, because I'm such a light complexion,
Mhm.
living in a district where everyone is mostly of dark complexion, I faced a lot of what you call now colorism.
Mhm.
So they used to call me a lot of red ugly names, like Red Malato, Red Dundus, Red, all kind of like unattractive kind of,
Mhm.
sounds.
Mhm.
So when Yellow Man came out, everyone looked at me, and started to call me Yellow. Like call me like referring to Yellow Man. And I felt good about it because Yellow Man was the thing and everybody was loving Yellow Man. So that made me feel somewhat more, appreciated for my complexion. So I started to kind of impersonate Yellowman by singing his songs every day. So one day I was singing one of Yellowman's songs, and I started to change the lyrics. This is at 10 years old. And I started to put my own words. And I was quite fascinated by what I did. So I went to my friend and started to sing my own lyrics. And then he started to sing some lyrics, and we had a clash right there and then. And from then, that's when I decided I wanted to write more lyrics, because he was pirating General Echo lyrics, but I didn't know. I thought he made up these stuff himself, but he sounded amazing.
Yeah.
So I began to take all those lyrics, and I went back to school, because I went to high school from the age of 10, 11.
Okay.
And that's when I started to like introduce some of my friends to writing lyrics, and I started a whole movement in high school.
All right. But from what you said, that the community that you find yourself, people used to call you all sort of name, Red Dundus, Red this and that and that. How come you end up naming yourself Red Fox?
That's interesting, because the name Red Fox came from a clash. I was clashing this other guy from another school around a jukebox, and the next he won the clash. So I went for a reclash the following day, and I was looking for him at his school, and I was walking, and he called me Red Fox. I don't know why he called me Red Fox, but I like the name, and ever since then the name stuck with me.
Wow. So before Red Fox, what was your name?
Well, my name was Gary Shelton, because my name is Gareth Shelton. So at the time, we were working with Gary Shelton, but Gary Shelton wasn't very catchy. So when this guy called Punk Buster, that's the guy I was clashing against, and when he mentioned the name Red Fox, because in my school, whenever I give in trouble, the teachers will also say I look like a fox, because my hair is bushy and red, and you know what I mean. So I took on to the name. It's all good.
All right, man. All right.
Easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening with Red Fox the Great. Trust me, 18 minutes going into the R2 here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. We're live on 99.5 in Accra, the capital city of Ghana, and also 98.5 in Kumasi, Ashanti region.
Easy.
Fox, talk to me. At the age of 16, in terms of going through this musical journey in Jamaica and all that, now, what actually happened before, you migrated, to the US to go reunite with your mom?
Yeah, so I graduated high school now at 15, going on 16, almost 16. And at this point, I gave up on the idea that I was going to America, because I spent my whole childhood looking to migrate, and I said to reunite with my family. But at this point, I decided I was going to be a jockey. So I went to Caymanas Park. That's where they race the horses, and I went to this trainer, and the trainer loved what he saw. So I was getting ready to apprentice to ride horses. But at the same time, they said that my papers came through for me to migrate. So, it was like I graduated high school in June, and I left Jamaica August. So it was a quick move after I left high school, and migrated to Brooklyn. So it was quite an interesting feeling, because at that point I wanted to stay in Jamaica, but at the same time, I had to move and go to the United States to reunite with my family.
All right. Before we step into the United States, migration talk in terms of music over there. Now, at the age of 15, 16, completing high school and all that, you were already in the musical, thing in Jamaica.
Yeah. Yes.
Who were some of your peers that you used to par with, and did you record anything musically in Jamaica those days before, the migration?
No, I formed. I was a co-founder of a crew called Asaase. Right, that's probably a crew consists of about 12 members in high school, and I ended up doing a show for the high school. This is where my name got really popular in high school when I did this particular show. And at that time, at that particular show, Papa San, the Great, was present.
Wow.
Because Papa San's wife today was my classmate.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so he used to come to my school all the time. So that was a big inspiration for me because whenever Papa San will come through, I would like look at his swag and look at the way he's moving and you know what I mean, just being inspired by the whole vibration there. And I would say I want to big up also Peter Metro because I used to live when I was living in the country. I used to live directly across the school, and that's where they kept all the dances, from like the Black Scorpio to all the big sounds like Metro Media, and I was able to stand up like very close to all the artists that came and watch them the whole entire night. So you know what I mean? So all of that now was developed. Even running I wouldn't say running the organization, but being a strong part of it in school, where you know we are writing lyrics and doing shows. And one day we decided that we are gonna go to studio, but nobody told us or invited us to the studio. We just took the bus and we went to Waterhouse, to King Jammy studio, and stood up at the gate and we looked in. And then we go back on the bus and go back to school. So that was my first attempt to you know to go to a studio. But you know we didn't know what we were doing. We were just kids. But you know I had a strong desire to move forward in the music. But at the same time, Jamaica economy was really, really bad because remember now we went through 1980 election. That was a bloodbath, and the country was on, you know, developing and trying to get back from all of that craziness that took place in the 1980 election. So we had great concerns about what we were going to do, how we were going to live. So riding horses now, the jockey thing was how I thought about getting paid. I wasn't really looking at music to be something that would have been feasible as far as like, you know, maintaining you know, a life of like paying bills and all these things. So eventually, as I said, that's when I migrated to the United States and things changed drastically.
All right. So if I understand you clearly, you and your friends took a bus to Waterhouse to the great King Jammy studio. You stood at the gate, looked into the studio and went back without entering into the studio.
yes, because there was a friend of mine called Goldfinger. He actually produced quite a few hits in the business, and he was the one who suggested that he can probably get us inside King Jammy's studio, but he was just talking, you know what I mean, just kids. So we all just said, okay, no problem, and that's how we went there and just looked at the gate and went back to school. But that was the beginning of something great, you know?
All right. Let's talk about America now. You migrated from Jamaica. We give thanks to God at the age of 16. When you got to America, musically, you know, how did you see the American scene in terms of music? Because it was a bit of hip hop, you know, dancehall and reggae around that time, soul and all these things, you know. How did you blend into the American culture and also music?
Well, I will say this. Before I migrated, I always had a vision in my head. When I get to America, I am going to be a star. I had that vision in my head to the point where I'm living it in my head. So when I got to the United States, whatever was going on in the scene, I didn't see that because all I saw was my vision. So I, you know, started to go to high school there. I had to go to high school because I was so young. So they put me back some grades there. So I met up on LP International, some of the members from LP International Sound System. They were going to the same high school. So, but before I even get there, on my building that I was living on in Brooklyn, there was a Jamaican family living on the fourth floor. I live on the fifth floor. So I was in the elevator coming up and I heard somebody playing music. And they so like they were DJing and doing a live thing. So I knew them from my siblings who introduced me to them. So I stopped the elevator on the fourth floor and I went in and I rang their bell and I started to DJ, and they were really like amazed by what they were hearing. So they told me that they're going to let me mash up the whole of foreign, right? So
Wow.
going back to high school now, I met LP guys and I was actually going to clash against them on a different sound system. But they didn't take me very seriously because they've never heard me before.
Wow.
So I went to this dance in Brooklyn, clashing against LP, and I got the mic and mash up the place, but they didn't want to give me back the mic. So because LP guys know me from high school, they brought me onto their sound. So I ended up betraying the sound that I came with and started to DJ for LP. You know, so you know, it wasn't very good of me because I didn't really I came with one sound, but I ended up switching sides and went on LP sound because they wouldn't give about the microphone.
Wow.
So that's how I started to DJ for LP International. So everything, as I said it before, with my vision, just began to just fall in line. From LP International, I ended up meeting a producer because they used to take all my practice tapes, all the cassettes, and bring to this producer called Peter Mackenzie. And one day they just called me and said, "Hey, we're taking you to the studio." And I ended up in the studio. This is like, I'm telling you, I'm probably 1 year in, just migrating to the United States. And I recorded 2 songs a night, Come Boogie Down, and a song called Me Baka Kill Me. And those 2 songs, no, Come Boogie Down became a hit within the tri-state area. And then from there on, I followed up with Jamaica Nice. And the rest was history, because after Jamaica Nice, I must say I went through a dark time because my mother didn't want me to music. She wanted me to go to college. And at this point, I kind of stopped going to school because I already graduated high school in Jamaica and I pretty much was going over the work that I already learned as a youth. So I kind of stopped going to school. I had no more interest. And my mother, you know, no disrespect, love her and everything, but she thought that kicking me out of the house would have worked. But that didn't work because I left and went to Texas in some kind of interest of selling drugs with my friends. And there was a guy that my sister was dating. He believed in me. Like, I can't even explain how much this man believed in me. He thought that I'm one of the greatest thing he ever heard. So he was looking for a lot of shows to book me on the shows, and he eventually crossed paths with Sting International.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I went the cross path with Sting International. Sting International was the DJ for this club called the Underground Nightclub, which was the biggest nightclub in New York City. Probably like about 3,000 people. And I called New York to find out, you know, just to check on things. And somebody told me that my brother-in-law was looking for me to get me on a show. And I flew straight back to New York and met Sting International. And they booked me, and the rest was history after that, man, because I really like blazed. There's footage of that show where the whole place is on fire, you know?
Wow.
So after that, the rest is history.
So at the end of the day, you couldn't end up selling the drugs again. Things change.
Well, as I said before, there was a vision in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a saying: right before the morning
Mm-hmm.
is the darkest part of the night.
Yes.
And I was going through the dark part of the night but God was watching over me all this time, because just as I'm about to go down the wrong road,
Mm-hmm.
they found that show for me, which was a lifesaver.
Wow.
And I returned to New York, and I give thanks to thee. That's why when you play like Give My Praise to Jah,
Yeah.
I'm talking about things like that, through the hardship and the struggle and the pain. God never let me go. That's why I'm still a sustain. I'm talking about my journey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, artists like Rayvon that you did the Bashment, collaboration with. How
Yeah.
did the item cross paths?
So, all right. So I had 2 songs out, as I said, Come Boogie Down
Mm-hmm.
and Down in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So I was now the artist, New York artist, reggae dancehall artist. And I crossed path with Shaggy because at this time Shaggy was in the military.
Okay.
And then we had a chat, and I decided I was going to help him. And he would drive. He was in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's the military base that he was.
Mm-hmm.
And from North Carolina to New York City is about 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I had a dance, like with LP, I will tell him, and he will drive down 9 hours to come sing with me, and drive 9 hours to go back.
Wow.
And I said, this guy is very serious. So at this time, George Bush, the first George Bush,
Yeah.
was going into war in Kuwait,
Mm-hmm.
and Shaggy was getting ready to go to war. So at this point, I was very nervous, because I thought that I may never see him again. So I was really like putting him on every show that I had. When I'm gonna do any stage show, I'll let him DJ as long as he want to,
Mm-hmm.
and take him to all the producers. I introduce him to Sting International and all these different producers. Now, Shaggy and Rayvon
Mm-hmm.
used to do a lot of combination songs
Mm-hmm.
when he was recording for Dan One, because that's who he used to record for first.
Okay.
And Rayvon was with him, and so when I started to link with him, that's how I met Rayvon. And from there on, we all became a crew that called the Rough Entry Crew, which consists of Screechy Dan, Baja Jed, Nike Fungus, Mr. Easy. So that's how the whole thing kicked off.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. After there's a label called Signet,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's a guy called Ben Sokoloff. He's actually Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to record me for a compilation. And I did a song called Agony Enough. But I realized this guy had some interest in reggae music. So I called him and say, hey, I would like to exclusively record for your label. I don't want to be all over the place. So I started to record for him, and then I brought in Shaggy, and everybody came on the label eventually. And that's how the whole thing kicked off.
Wow. From what I'm hearing from you, Red Fox, you've kicked the door for a lot of artists, but I don't know. I stand to be corrected, but it's sad to hear that I don't hear such stories. I don't hear them.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, because all the things you're telling me now, like bringing Shaggy and all these things, and Shaggy have to drive 9 hours and come back and all these things, and back and forth and all these things, putting him on all these shows, and because of the Kuwait war that he was going to go and you thought you will not see him again and all these things. You decided to put him on shows and all this. I never hear this story before, you know. I've never heard.
You're hearing it. Well, you're hearing it now. You know, you're hearing it now.
Definitely. And seriously, you have kicked the door for a lot of artists. And I must say, big respect to you. And seriously, I feel proud in myself, you know, that I have been playing Red Fox all this while, because trust me, you need your flowers. You understand me? You know, and
well, I before you're going further with the flowers, I tell people to give me herbs. Because herbs preserve life. Flowers dry up on that. So give me herbs.
Yeah, we give thanks, man. We give thanks. Seriously, I will entreat, you know, some of these big name artists now, you know, to sometimes, you know, go upon them interviews and throw light on some of these things, because Red Fox is still living. You understand me? And this time is when people should go out and try and give you your herbs. You understand? Instead of the flowers.
Yeah. Well, you know, everything in due time, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we don't really even worry about a lot of those things most of the time, because I try to just keep myself focused as far as what my purpose and journey is. You know what I mean? And in this business, I don't bow to fame. I don't bow to fortune. I don't bow to materialistic things. I don't bow to anything at all. I do what I think is right and righteous within a time space. So early on, as you mentioned, you know, they don't shine the light on a lot of things. In this business, it requires you to do certain selfish things sometimes to constantly gain popularity or to keep your fame on a certain level. It requires a certain level of selfishness, including you may have a family and you may ignore them because, you know, you're more concerned about how hot you are or how famous you are or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, there's a child that's waiting on you to just get a word of wisdom from you as their father, or some kind of guidance, or, you know what I mean, some kind of family structure. And I'm very serious with that because, as I mentioned to you earlier on in the interview, that my mother left when I was 3, my father died when I was 5. And I know what it felt like to not really have that type of structure around me. So I decided that at one point when my children came on this earth, that I would not desert them because of anything at all. You know, and I was willing to sacrifice even fame, if so be, to make sure that I am a great father, because I've watched a lot of children suffer, and including myself, I suffered a lot from not having my parents. So it's not that they don't shine the light on you, it's what you decide to do, because what you put in is what you get. Saying, if you decide that you want to really take on the road serious, there's nothing to stop you. You know what I mean? But there's a time and place for everything. You have to know how to kind of balance it, even though there's kind of no balance in music. But you have to have purpose in life, and your purpose can't just be about fame alone.
You're right. 39 minutes going into the R2 here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. We're transmitting on 99.5 in Accra, inside Cantonment, number 7 Fit Circular Road, from the Kweku Sechi Ado studio, and straight away to Kumasi on 98.5. This is Asaase, the voice of our land. I would like to say good afternoon to Na Ache Yamaya. Anywhere you are, big up yourself. Later on, we'll get to premiere the song on the show. And then Junior Zamani says, make Africa borderless now. Africa is our home. Very handsome gentleman talking about Red Fox. And then he said, Junior Zamani again said, his story is really inspiring. Lagazee, we will never give up till we laid to rest. Big up yourself, Red Fox. And then Rough Top Rockeye,
Yes.
who happens to be a Jamaican reggae artist, also in the United States of America, said, great story, long time man. Listen, Red Fox, big up yourself. Coming from Rough Top Rockeye. We give thanks every time. Yeah, man. So moving forward now, before I jump into the other question, now when your mom threw you out and then you decided to move from New York to the other state, in the quest of maybe selling drugs and all that, and then the call came and everything turned around, that now you're coming back again to New York for a show and all these things. Now, did your mom link you back? What is the relationship between you and your mom?
So I was living right before I went to Texas. I was living with my girlfriend that I had at that time. I was living with her and her mother. So when I returned, I spent a lot of time there. But when I got my first show in I think this is about 1989, I got $1,500 and I went and gave my mother $500.
Wow.
And show her that whatever I'm doing, is really bringing forth money. You know what I mean? So, I give her the 500 because I don't really hold any animosity towards my mother for what she did. I know at the end of the day, she was thinking that she was trying her best to do something that she was hoping that I would come back and probably say, okay, I'm sorry, I will do what you asked of me. But I was a rebellious youth from start. So if you put me out, I'm not the type that is going to come back. I'm going to move forward and figure it out. So I figured it out by the grace of God, and I gave her money. And, from there on, she realized that this thing is not what she thought it was,
Mm-hmm.
She began to believe in me more.
All right. So
because
she invited you back home?
Yes, I went back there for a short time because after that I began to get very hot because I now come out with the record Pose Off with Screechy Dan, and then I was signed to a major record company, which is Electro Records under Warner Brothers. And, of course, I got a certain amount of money at the time. Probably I was signed for about 150,000. And I end up moving out. And, from there on, no looking back.
Easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is great news. Now, talk to me about sound system culture now. This show is particularly a sound system culture show. So I am so much interested in the sound system aspect of your life when you were on LP International, right?
Yeah.
I would like to know around that times, and this should be in the 80s, right?
Yes, 86, 87, 88. I think all the way to probably 89. Yes.
All right. So around that time, it was live artists on the sound system, right?
Yeah, man.
All right. So how was it like? You on LP International, together with which artists?
Well, LP Sound, we had like what I call like the United Caribbean, because it was me, Jamaican, a guy called General GT, Guyanese, a guy called Calarangs, rest in peace, which was a Grenadian, a guy called Babylou, which is a Haitian, and Junior Stepper, which is a Bahamian. There were so many Caribbean people there, you know what I mean? So, but it was a very good vibration because I learned so many different cultures, you know, which I was able to incorporate in my music, because people must understand the artists them that base in Brooklyn, New York, or New York on a whole, they're able to communicate with a certain set of people within that time. Like, for instance, the Latinos, the Black Americans. We knew how to DJ, choice of words, flow, all these things to gather these people around. You know what I mean? So that's even why a lot of dancehall artists from Jamaica was able to come and eat from that, because a lot of the work that we did, we kind of pretty much paved the way that the music grew to a larger scale and brought in a lot of fans, because we went to school with these kids. You know what I mean? We introduced them to the music through the King Jammies. You know, when we have our Walkman in our ears, we'll put it over their ears so they could hear like King Jammies, Stereo One sound system, all the different sound systems, you know? So, you know, we played a very vital role in breaking the music across borders.
All right. Talk to me about how the operation looked like in, you know, those days from the 86 to 89 on LP Sound. Do you guys string up the sound in terms of, you know, clashing other sounds? And how was it like? You know, was it competing among, you know, other sound systems with their set of artists and all that? And how was it like? Was it a win? Was it a lose and all that? Let us know about that.
Well, it was all clashes, right? And we never lost a clash, because first and foremost, my voice, the sound that I came with in Brooklyn, it was amazing for a lot of the in the space. They never really heard anything like it before. So sometimes before I even get to even 5 line, the place is already like in like frenzy. You know what I mean? Just the sound of my voice alone. You know what I mean? And the guys on LP, you know, they were talented, you know what I mean? So we win every clash, man. Like, you know, there was never, you know, but the only thing that came with that, most of these dances is nothing but gunshots, you know. So there's somewhere along the line, we know there's going to be a shootout.
Wow.
So 95% of the time, there was always a shootout after the clash.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the wild west, because you have to understand it was during the crack era.
Okay.
So a lot of rope chains, a lot of goose down, leather jackets, and people have Uzis under that. People have all. I'm telling you, it was a gunman town.
Wow.
So we had to literally go on a battlefield to break the music.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And rest in peace to all those who lost their lives within that time, because, you know, a lot of people came just to enjoy themselves, and unfortunately, lose
them life.
Yeah. So lose them life, you know. So it's always a bittersweet feeling when it comes to talking about Billmore Ballroom, Starlight Ballroom, all these different places, because as much as we were having fun as kids, you know, there was a lot of shooting involved, and that became one arm. It's like, as much as we feared what can happen, the passion drowned that fear, and the courage to get on the mic and to make a name for yourself drowned fear. But, you know, we give thanks that we are able to tell the story today, because, you know, whoever made it out through in that time is very fortunate.
Listen to me, man. I now, you know, understand clearly the song Brooklyn Swing.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
Wow.
Brooklyn Swing is a song that I tried to give you a feeling of what it was. It felt good, but at the same time, it was edgy, you know? So it's ironic how it's on the rhythm that's called Darker Shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So being a live artist on a sound system, from 1986 to 1989, and moving through the space and all that. Now, there was a point where the live artist era on sound systems, came to a close, and now there was dubplate that artists had to voice dubplate for their sound systems to go for competition. Now, Red Fox,
Right.
which sound system did you first voice dubplate for?
LP. Actually, the song that I have called Jamaica Nice down in Jamaica. I went to the studio to voice dubplate with. Naturally, he was gonna sing down in Jamaica, and I'm gonna sing Jamaica Nice. And then Puma said, "Why not put both together and make it one song?" And that's how we ended up with that collaboration.
Wow.
But LP was the first. LP was the first sound, and then Spectrum. There was a sound called Spectrum, and after that, when I had like popular songs, other sound systems started to come in. But at first, before I even had any kind of hit songs, LP was recording dubs.
All right. So you can tell us for the fact that the sound system that can play the most Red Fox is LP International, right?
The sound that can play the most Red Fox, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, probably. I have to say.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Because they have dub plates with me from 16 years old. Yeah, they have dub from the age of 16. There's a guy who used to come to the LP practices when I was working out around the sound. He recorded every session, and he still have all those cassettes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I learned something. Whenever you're born to do something, God always sends someone to document it. Because we didn't hire these people to document what we were doing. It was just a natural vibration. There's a girl that actually took pictures of me ever since I'm coming up. I didn't hire her, but she was assigned. So whenever you're born to do something, this is your purpose. It shows you that God provides you with all that you need to get there. And if you find yourself in a position where you're struggling to get what you desire, you have to check yourself and make sure that is what you want. Because a lot of times people, and I'm just saying this, I know I might be coming off track a little bit, but I just want to say this. Whatever vision is in your head, it's going to be manifested. So if you find yourself struggling and cannot see what you think you want, think about if you have a vision or not. Because once you have a vision, God will always provide you with everything that you need to make that vision become a reality.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, man.
Hallelujah. Now, Fox, talk to me about, the album thing that we've been talking about. But first and foremost,
yes.
How many albums have you?
I only did 2 albums solo, and I did one with Screech It and Car Reset. But I did my first album, as a matter of fact, my second album, Face the Facts, and my third album with Screech It and Car Reset. But that's it.
So
lot of singles, yeah.
So the other record labels and all that, all of them were singles.
Come again?
I'm talking about the record labels that you were signed to. The songs you released for them, were they all singles?
Yeah, like you mean my first album with the Lecture Records?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that album, Them a Murderer, Born Again Black Man, Ghetto Gospel, those were 3 singles from that album.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Dancehall. That's a way, like there's a lot of great songs on that album, from Dancehall Scenario with the whole entire crew. Man, them I got like DJ Premier, where I did They Can't Test Me Again. We have Dave Kelly that produced Born Again Black Man, as I said before, and Get a Gospel. We have Bobby Condas that produced Them a Murderer. We have Sting produced Dry It Shakira. It's an amazing album. I need to go even listen it back again. It's been a while. Yeah.
So when is the new one coming? Fox.
So I know I've been working on this album for quite some time. Now I'm in Jamaica and putting some finishing touches on it. But the mission is to create music that bridge the gap. Meaning we want to make sure that we have some of the authentic flavor and at the same time with a fresh sound to it. We don't want it to be nostalgic, where it takes you back to songs that you may love back in the 80s or 90s, because people do get over these songs in 2 weeks. So we're trying to make sure that it's not nostalgic. It still gives you a good feeling, but it has a fresh touch to it. So, it's creating a formula. So I can't rush it, you know what I mean? But I've done so many tracks. I'm probably 20 tracks deep, which we're not going to do so many tracks on the album, but I just want to make sure that I have a well-balanced album.
All right. So on top of your head, if we should go into the album, how many songs are we going to have on the album? Do you have any idea? Is it going to be 10, 15? Do you have any feature?
I'll probably trickle it down to like 12, 13.
12, 13. All right. 12, 13 songs.
Yeah. About there.
Would you have any feature on it?
I'm working on the features now. That's why I'm in Jamaica. I do have some features already. I have a girl from New York called Kyra Kane on a track. A Latino guy called Legendary. Who again? Well, of course, we're gonna also add Give My Praise on the album, which is with Rush Shiloh.
No Jamaican artists yet?
Well, I want to make sure, because I went out to Sanchez show last night, so yeah, I went to bed like 3 o'clock and got up early, so I'm trying. I don't want to miss out any names, but I don't want to give away any names yet until everything's sealed.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm working on a lot of them,
Okay. All right. So it means that you've mentioned like 3 right now: a girl from New York, a Latino, and then Give My Praise with Shiloh means 3. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we're gonna have some more collabs though. We want to make it very interesting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And when should we expect this album? Because we started talking about this album from like 2024.
It's been a minute, but I was looking forward to a spring release. That is still not out of the question. But I don't want to say anything until I really seal off this trip with the work that I'm doing here, and then I have a better idea of when I want to drop the album. But we wanted to also make sure that we do some promotion as far as like going around and make yourself be seen, because we don't want to just drop an album like that. We want to make sure that we create a movement before we do such things. So a part of like me not really rushing that is to make sure that the people get to see me a lot, because over the years I've been spending a lot of time, as I said before, raising my youths, and the youth never get big now, so that they are pushed out. So we have to go around a little bit and kind of refresh those memory that may not remember so well, and to make those who know are going a little more aware. So we have some promotions to do, as far as getting ourselves around.
All right. All right, we can't wait. And I was going to ask, this album, are you going to release it on your own record label, or you have a record deal from any of these big record labels?
Well, give thanks, we don't need to do that anymore. We have all the tools to release projects on our own. You know what I mean? It really depends on what someone is offering at this time, because most of what people is offering, we can do ourselves, because all the tools are there for all the singles that have been releasing so far. I've been releasing them on my own. And, it's amazing out there now what is being provided for you as an independent artist to do your own thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We give thanks every time, Red Fox, and spending time in Jamaica and all these things, and you going out last night and coming back early and waking up early just to talk to King Lagazee and talk to the whole of Africa, Ghana, listening to you right now. And Red Fox says he's looking forward for this particular album in spring. So people, let your eyes be on the road, and I am here. We've been talking, almost all the time. So I will make sure that I'll get all the 411 and come update the item when it will come out. And trust me, when the album release also, we'll be here on Asaase Radio, and we will have him like this, and then we will do the album premiere or review. You understand me? We go into it, and then we'll talk about what is happening and all that, where you can get it and all these things. You understand me? So stick up in and don't go anywhere. Red Fox, I don't want to take too much of your time, but before I leave you finally, there is this issue to do with the Grammys, that almost all the time when the Grammys, kind of happen, there is always a question about the winner. You understand me? And you see a lot of Jamaican artists throwing all sort of tantrums and all that here and there. Now, this one, it was between Vybz Kartel, Kesnamdi, JC Royal, Lila Ike, and Mortimer. And at the end of the day, Kesnamdi picked it. To the best of my knowledge, Kesnamdi is a good friend of mine. You understand me? And Kesnamdi is even responsible, because I hosted him in this particular studio in person. And after the interview, the guard himself requested that I should bring Kesnamdi to him. It was through that conversation that I got a ticket to come to Jamaica in 2024. So Kesnamdi is like my brother. We talk, and I push his works and all that. Now, when he won the Grammys, I saw a lot of tantrums. Like, I don't understand. From your own opinion, looking at the Grammys and looking at Kesnamdi picking it up, what do you think about it? And I know you saw some of these tantrums online and all that. What do you have to say about that as a veteran, somebody who has been there, done that already? What do you have to say about it?
Well, first and foremost, the Grammys is something that you have to register yourself to, right? And then you have a board that votes on the winner. But one must understand that it's not won by popularity or whatever they think is happening at the moment. There's so many different categories. You have reggae music, you have dancehall, but we have to learn to support our artists more as a people. We cannot continue to, because a lot of times people that are talking about who they think should win or whatever, these people don't really support the music as far as streaming the music or buying the music or anything at all. They just like hear a person that is popular, like for instance, a lot of people would have liked to see Vybz Kartel win, right? And those are Vybz Kartel fans. But you also have Kesambi. That's the pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Kesambi.
No, Kesnamdi.
Kesnambi, because that's my first time I heard of him,
Mm-hmm.
when he won the Grammy. Kesnambi.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it actually made me go and listen to the album, and I see that he has done some quality work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been putting in his work over the years. And what happened is in the dancehall, they only play a lot of time the hardcore dancehall. So the people in the dancehall is not hearing about a person like Kesnambi, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not hearing. Yeah, they're not hearing about him. So when they hear that he win, it baffles them because they've never heard of him before. But the selectors in Jamaica, they need to start playing more reggae music and balance the dance. We used to have that before, but these days a lot of the selectors, they only jump right into the songs that are hype, that is going to get the party started. They are not trying to break records like they used to. They come in and they play like a top 20 set of songs so they can just get all the forward and all the noise. But there was a time when a lot of genuine selectors who really love the music and want to break the genre and bring it further, they would play, quality music along the board, across the board, I should say. So that the discussion should be about the dancehall and what they're playing, so the people can be more aware of other artists that is out there. Because a lot of times people think that good music is not being made anymore, but they're not being played. So I would say we need some more genuine selectors, real selectors that love music and love reggae music and want to continue to break the music across borders. Because over the years, the music have kind of declined as far as the audience. And we have to pay attention to that. It's not that people is fighting the music, it's we are fighting ourselves. So we need to start supporting each other, supporting our music more, supporting all our artists, not just a few. But if you hear good music, play good music. And we won't have this conversation year after year after year.
All right. Red Fox, I would like to say big respect for your time and space. In case someone want to link you up, for 45 dubplate and all these things, please can you put your socials and maybe any contact and all that kind of thing. But before that, you ever been to Africa in terms of tour and all these things?
Well, you know what? I used to tour with Maxi Priest for 10 years, right? And we went to South Africa. We went to Uganda. We went to Nigeria. We went to Kenya. I know there's something else I'm missing. I'm not sure, but I know I've been to Africa like about 5 times.
Wow. And you've never been to Ghana?
No, never been to Ghana. I always wanted to go to Ghana because, Jamaican people are from Ghana.
Definitely.
And, we always want to go visit, for all of vibration over there, So hopefully sometime soon. Make it happen, Lagazee.
No se farty, man. No se farty, dada.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, before we wrap it up, I would like you to put out your social media handles in terms of anybody want to do any work with you and all these things.
Yeah, at Original Red Fox. That is the tag for like Instagram. TikTok is at Original Red Fox 1. Facebook at Original Red Fox. Yeah, so it's at Original Red Fox across the board.
All right. Before I leave you finally, your word of advice to rising artists and self-made artists and all kind of artists listening to you right now. Being a legend, being there, done that, you enjoyed and stardom at a very, young age and all these things. Through that experience and all that, I want you to advise the people them listening to you right now as a star from the word go?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I like to tell people to be themselves. Make sure that you be yourself. Because if you're being somebody else, you will miss your turn because there's a time coming for you personally. And if you're not being yourself, you're gonna miss your turn. So make sure that you be yourself, be original, do not follow trend. Because when trend is over, you're over as well. So just trust the process. I know sometimes you feel like nothing is not happening for you, but you have to understand you're on your journey. You have a vision, or I should say, make sure that you have a vision in your head. Because once you have that vision in your head, you're already on the journey and you must trust the process. There's going to be ups and downs, bumps and bruises, all kind of things because this is life. Life is not perfect, but just your turn is coming. And when the opportunity strikes, strike. You don't sit down and procrastinate and doubt yourself. Make sure that, as Marcus Garvey said, without confidence, you're twice defeated in the race of life. So make sure that you're confident and original and pay attention to the history of the music so that you can gain much substance because that is what is going to give you longevity.
All right. Red Fox, Rough Top Rock, I says, King Lagazee, you need to keep some shows. Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I go ahead and do that. I go ahead and do that. Red Fox, I would like to say thank you so much for your time and space. And trust me, anytime the single or the album, ready, let us know so that we can set it up and do the needful.
Yeah, man, enough respect. And thank you for having me. Give thanks for the strength and we give thanks for the promotion. You know what I mean? Don't know it, go. Whole heap of love. See?
Respect every time. Ladies and gentlemen,
Salute.
This is Red Fox, Jamaica Love.